So let's talk about accent painting. This is actually a really fun part of the project that I got into. As simple as a lot of it was, there isn't a whole lot of accents to the droid. There's lots of orange I can see top in the shoulder plate. Lots of different sort of little pieces that you would add to it in the way of color, right? It's two types of gray. It's got this metallic aluminum, which is what the neck, the belly are based on. And then the body, the chest and the legs and the arms are all this metallic gunmetal or whatever they were calling it, right? One of the key signature pieces of accent on the droid is the insignia. So this is the New Republic insignia, and I had to do some searching on Google. I didn't realize there were so many different insignias throughout the canon of Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not like a giant nerd who knows it by heart, right? So basically I found the one that matched from the Mandalorian series, where you first see the droid and everything in the hallway of that prison ship. And so I found on Etsy a maker who could make me the stencil. So I found the maker, they made me the stencil. So the stencil actually shows up in a super awesome cardboard thing to keep it from bending, right? So on Etsy I found this maker and they were able to make me the stencil. So I measured it and what I thought it was on the actual droid body, and I said I want it to be 4 inches. Well, 4 inches is pretty big, but I was like, let's just see how it goes. So I got it and tested it out, and I realized that 4 inches was actually too big. A little unfortunate, but you don't know unless you try, right? So this is the actual production version that I used for the N5 Century droid. So this one was 3.5 inches, and basically it was just like a white stencil, and there's like a little tiny line here at the bottom, here at the top, that holds the circle inside, which is kind of cool. And so basically, end up taping this thing on the droid, and there's one on the back, and there's just below the backpack, and there's one on the front, obviously on the chest. So I had to match it and line it up, make sure it was straight. And so, it was really interesting. So this is a really cool signature piece. Really impressed. These guys made it. It looks great. It's easy to reuse. If I didn't like it, I just literally paint over it with the gunmetal gray and then let it dry and then put it on again. And give it a shot. Hopefully it works and looks good. So again, like I said before, I'm not a big model painter, so I find doing accents like this a bit of a challenge. Yes, it's just spray paint and a stencil, but still, you want it to look right. You don't want that overspray around the edges. You don't want it to be bubbly or wet painty or anything on it, right? So there might be some imperfections, but you know what? Rapid development. Let's just get this thing stenciled up so it looks good. So so that's pretty cool. So the stencil's made. We got the stencil on there. I'm happy with it. There was some overspray in some cases, which is fine. So then, you just end up, putting over a clear, not clear, you put over, just do a bunch of tape. I use this, I taped over top of the stencil once it was dry, and then I could match paint with my gunmetal gray, whatever it's called. I'm gonna look it up and put a photo of the paint can because that's annoying. And so there you go. So so then we take care of that. The stencil's on, it looks good, front and back, happy with that. Now we got some more accents. Let's talk about the back of the head. So the back of the head has this little orange piece below the light that exists, right? It's almost not noticeable, but it's on the back of the head and it's pretty cool. So that there, I basically taped around it, masked it off with painter's tape, so this won't take the droid gray, as I call it, the droid gray metal gunmetal paint off, right? So I used painter's tape, and then I used a paintbrush and I just painted it up and made it orange. Same thing for these shoulder pads. So the shoulder pads, like you can see there, I had to paint them up, and so they were actually a lot more tricky than I thought. They have some droid gray in between them and like some little bars. It almost looks like a rank or something like that on the shoulder, which is cool. It's a really cool detail. I did just want to paint it like a big orange, rounded edge rectangle, and that was it, right? So I wanted to be true to the design. So I taped it off with the green tape, and I masked it, and then I actually used a paintbrush and touched up with some of the orange spray paint. So it looked really good. got the shoulders done, got the insignia done, back of the head, and then there's one more piece, which is the lens in the ammo pack or thermal detonator. So that one is orange, and it was a white lens that I painted. It's basically, they give you the lens to print similar to how you print the lens for the visor and the head. You can print it orange. Never did find an orange filament I really liked until I found the amber filament, which I'm going to print this one again. Right now it's just painted as the original, what I did a couple years ago, because it just, you know what I mean, rapid development. Once I get it ready to actually take it out and show people, I'll be printing off the proper amber lenses for things, right? Like how I did the lights. So anyhow, I painted a white lens orange with the spray paint and put it into the thermal detonator, which I thought looked really cool. The accents are super neat. They add a whole new level of sort of color to an already very gray or metallic looking 3D print. So here, I'll just take you on a quick tour and we'll look at the accents. So here's the shoulder accent. So this here, I got a little bit of overspray. Showing off, I'm using my light here. I got a fancy shop light. So yeah, so I got a little bit of overspray there that I need to deal with at the top edge. But I thought that turned out pretty good for being a spray paint. So, you know, I'll fix that up at some point, but I thought that looked, you know, really clean, and I was happy with that, right? Then there's the insignia. The insignia, I like it a lot. I think this one looks pretty good. It's a little bit light on the left-hand side of the, I don't know what we're gonna call that shape, but, you know, it is what it is. Again, rapid development. I want this thing to look good. So let's take a quick look and see if we can see something in the back. Oh, gotta get my camera back here. There we go. So there's the one at the back. I like it. I think it looks pretty good. The amount of overspray on this one was really difficult to do. Yeah. So yeah, I like it. I think it looks good. And then back of the head, that orange one there. You know, that again was a bit of spray paint. I masked it off and I used a paintbrush on it as well. You know, the light in the back, the light there, that's like a white lens right now. I'm gonna end up printing an amber one at some point when I go around and do the final touches. But yeah, that's basically it for the accents. Pretty cool. Here's the other side. That one turned out pretty good. You know what I mean? If you're looking at it really closely, you could maybe see some overspread. There's also scuffs from development. You know, I'm making this thing. You know, it looks used and battle worn. I didn't sand the layer lines out of the shoulder, as you can see. So you know, it has a little bit of detail to it, which is okay. But yeah, rapid development. Like I said, I'm not going crazy on this thing, sanding it, painting it. It's not a prop. It's going to be a working droid. So I know I'm going to scratch things up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's it for accents. Thanks so much for watching this one. Wanted to keep it quick and simple. The accent parts, again, were super fun and really excited to do it. So next we got a couple of videos coming up. I really want to talk about the opposable knees. So the opposable knees were one of the first big development pieces that I did. I was trying to figure out, you know, these knees are currently static. How do I get them to bend? And how do I slice them, right? Like I had played around with Tinkercad, which is my modeling tool that I use. Basically, I need to take this solid piece of knee. I need to make a joint out of it. I need to make two separate pieces that go together and can hinge in the center. And these two separate pieces, top and bottom knee, they're actually two pieces themselves, a left and a right, that go together, right? So I need to figure out how do I cut these apart in such a way, you know, how do I cut corners, no pun intended, but how do I cut corners? I want an edge on this thing because like it's a solid piece, it's not a rounded piece. So I need to cut it and then I need to sand it because I don't want there to be any catching pieces when the knee bends. So there's a ball of the knee, and then there's like, it's called tongue and fork, right? This is the tongue, this needs to be rounded, this is the fork, it goes over top of the tongue, and then there's a pin in the middle that it needs to go this way. And so I feel like I'm doing a magic trick or something like that. You guys ever see that one? So, but basically, I need to make sure that this thing goes back and forth. These are not going to be walking knees, right? Like there's absolutely no gears in them yet or anything. This is just, can I cut this thing up? Can I make it work so that the knees could bend? Because the one problem was the original shop, which was actually a shack, like literally was 4 feet by 4 feet by 6 feet tall. All it was a shack for storing my chicken food and stuff on the chicken farm. I used that to build the Droid. And, you know, that was where all the parts went, where they all got sanded, they all got, you know, prepped up and ready and put together. And so it was a tiny little shack, which is me and the Droid standing in this shack together. And so that, it didn't leave me a whole lot of room. And also, I could not fully assemble the Droid. It was only 6 feet tall in the shack, and the Droid is 6'4". So I wanted it to be able to sit. So I had this old stool that I had in there, and so I basically had the Droid sitting on the stool. Now that its legs were bent and everything, perfect. Now I could work on the upper body. I could work on the lights. This is all before I got the current resin shed that I have now, 8 feet by 10 feet. So yeah, that's it. I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for coming by, and take care. Okay, seated in the shop. Crazy. Oh.